As of last night, over 11,000 people in our state have been diagnosed with COVID-19, and over 10 times as many have been diagnosed in the United States. Many more are awaiting test results or attempting to find out if they can qualify or if they can even find a place to get tested. Those who are experiencing symptoms range from no symptoms to mild ones to not feeling well, to needing hospitalization or support with breathing, and even some symptoms leading to death. We are all present to a kind of liminal time, wondering just how great our losses will be, specifically the loss of some people's livelihoods, and, more importantly, the loss of the lives of people that we love. The president has expressed a desire to privilege money over people, and he has invited people to pack churches for Easter. I must tell you, as your minister, I privilege a different moral order, and I hope that you will stay away for the sake of your health and for the health of your neighbors, family, and friends. But don't you worry. We will bring the fellowship and Easter service to you wherever you are. For those of you that are finding yourself in a time of challenge or out of work, please reach out to our care team. We have some funds to assist you with necessities like food, electricity, or heat, and we can also point you in the direction of other sources of community help. In this week, while some of you have been waiting for or still await test results, a memory of a personal story of waiting comes to mind. As a new mother, I remember holding my 4-month-old on my lap in a corridor in Mount Sinai, waiting to see a specialist. I stared into my baby's perfectly imperfect, beautiful dark brown eyes with pupils of different sizes and thought to myself, it would be the cruelest joke that I, a cancer survivor, might now have a baby with cancer. This wasn't just the old question of why me. It felt like a new question. Why me again? You see, when my son's pediatrician looked into his eyes when he was only a couple months old, she remarked on the difference between the left and the right eye in the size of his pupils. She said that it was probably nothing, but we should see an ophthalmologist and also go for a special scan at the hospital. When we saw the ophthalmologist, she did a test on his eyes to check whether the difference between his left eye and right eye was merely a benign anomaly or something more serious. Both of these tests came back inconclusive. The ophthalmologist shared that doctors were trying to rule out the possibility of a tumor. Never something that a parent wants to hear, especially about their baby. She also shared that there was another test that would be more conclusive, but it involved drops with a small amount of cocaine, and it couldn't be procured in New Jersey. It was considered contraband. She sent me to a specialist in New York. It took a while to get that appointment. When we arrived, the doctor greeted us, took us into his office, read the charts, looked at the left and right eyes, and said, I could do the same test that you already had, but it will most likely be inconclusive again as far as a possible tumor. We really need to do the test with the special eye drops, but we have an issue. It turned out that the hospital protocols hadn't anticipated a baby ever needing these eye drops with cocaine. They required the patient to sign documents and walk with the doctor to get the eye drops. And because of strict precautions with this particular controlled substance, a parent or guardian would not suffice. The specialist said, I don't know whether I'll be able to get some today, but I'll try. You know, there's a little Italian restaurant around the corner. Why don't you enjoy lunch with your husband and then come back? Enjoy lunch? While we're waiting to find out if our baby has cancer? I had already enjoyed a number of lunches over the last few weeks waiting to get in to see this specialist, and I wasn't sure that I could stand another moment of wait and see or be present to the gratitude and joy in this moment. I was worried. I was anxious. I wanted this liminal space that we were stuck in to end, and I also wanted everything to turn out okay. The lunch place was good enough, and we did our best to enjoy it. And then we returned to the hospital and waited to see the specialist. Waited for him to tell us whether or not we could even have the test that day. After another hour of waiting, he finally came back out. "I've got it!" he exclaimed. We took our baby into the exam room, and within minutes, the rush of relief, it was confirmed. He didn't have cancer. I finally felt like I could exhale. Being confronted with our own mortality, or the mortality of someone we love, is one of the greatest challenges that we face as human beings. On one hand, we know that to be human is mortal. Suffering is a part of life, and change is the only constant. That is part of the deal. On the other hand, it is human to want more time where we are well in body, mind, and spirit, and to crave certainty. Shouldn't that also be part of the deal? Theodicy is the word that we use in religious traditions to describe how we make meaning in light of the fact that we don't get to control how much good or bad happens, or even understand why they are meted out so unequally. Theodicy involves questions like, why do good things happen to people who behave badly? Or why do bad things happen to people who are loving, wise, and compassionate? Or the question I asked before, why me? Or why me again? There are some who assign a directional, active intelligence in the universe to all that happens. You may have heard people say, or some of you may believe, everything happens for a reason, or everything happens for a purpose. Just this week, I've heard some of my interfaith colleagues express their trust and hope that God is at work in all that is happening. To my faith understanding, everything doesn't happen for a reason in the sense of God guiding it to happen. Rather, we are the ones who create meaning and purpose after something happens. We are changed by the experiences, and then we face the world differently because of those changes. If I see God anywhere, I see it in the interactions of nurses and doctors and aides on the front lines, risking their lives in order to care for the health and well-being of the many. But I see that as them tapping into the divine spark that lives in all of us and that is greater than each of us. So God may be present, but I don't believe that He's choosing, or she, or any concept of a God choosing who will live and who will die. Sadly, babies do die. Not everyone will live to an old age. What I have learned by companioning people through grief is that every single solitary life leaves its mark on someone's heart, or many people's hearts. Others are changed because of that life and how it was expressed, how they were related, and the string of memories that add up to a life, and ultimately to a love beyond death. Parents at the graves of their children know this. Children at the graves of their parents or grandparents know this too. COVID-19 is a reminder that our time on earth is of great consequence, especially to those we love and care for and with whom we work and play. So while it is too early to say how we will be changed by this pandemic, I have faith that alongside the loss that accompanies a time like this, we will allow those losses to strengthen our hold on life. That those of us who do not die, which I remind you, as painful of a time as this may be, will be most of us. That we will not go back to life just as it was before. That we will take the learnings of this season of change to heart. May they include the knowledge that we can reduce our carbon footprint and travel more conscientiously. COVID-19 has in some ways achieved the kind of thing that the Paris Agreement was pointing towards. May the learnings of this time include our ability to find joy even in the midst of a sad day, and to discover that we can be so creative in the face of a challenging day. May the learnings include appreciation for those who follow the calling of a first responder and the healthcare givers who are risking and sacrificing for the health of the many. May the learnings invite us to work collectively for a healthcare system and an educational system that puts the needs of the many and the most vulnerable at their center. May the sobering and unifying experiences we are having teach us beyond a shadow of a doubt that our whole human family is intertwined. May they awaken in each of us a vision of a world shaped in the direction of what is holy, healing, and just, and the courage to co-create anew. Amen. Blessed be, and may it be so.